The next one is Abhidhamma. Miss Carrie here? Not here. Kevin?
With this one, I actually found a lot of conflicting articles.
Okay.
One of the things that I always found is that it's the third division of the Tipitaka, and it's more of a practical framework of the teachings of the Buddha, and that with the the Buddha came up with it on the 4th week after his enlightenment, and then 7 years later, he started. He spent several months teaching it in the Devas realms to thousands of the Devas. And during this time, he'd just come back to the human realm for a brief time each day to basically say what he taught. And that this is actually wasn't included until the Third Council. And even after that, it's the most varied as far as its use, how much it's used. Like there are some practices that barely use it, and others that consider it as important as the sutras.
Yeah. This is common. Like someone publish a book, right? They have what they call book review. They put comment on the book, how the authors wrote that kind of book and so forth. This is like commentaries. So again, according to some traditions, they say that the Buddha went to in one summer, the Buddha went to the heaven to teach, and after he got back, he taught that type teaching to his close disciple Shariputra. And of course, like you say, it's done from the first Buddhist council. They decide that too, but it's not much important. Then the Sutta and the Vinaya. And most of the tradition, most of the Buddhist schools carry it on. They carry their own Abhidhamma or Buddhist commentaries, or Buddhist psychology. It's just general information for you. Unless you want to become a Buddhist scholar, you study more. Otherwise, it's too complicated. Yeah. Okay, so let us move on then. Okay, and the commentaries. Will you have commentaries there?
Commentaries are part of the Buddhist canon because they provide further insight into the 3 baskets.
Yeah.
They can be traced back as far as the 1st century CE. And they existed, some of them existed before the writing down began, and they were also passed down in verbal form. But they've also been a lot of prolific writing since then. Commentaries are not necessarily the words of the Buddha, rather they are studies of his teachings that have been pondered by other monks. They serve as a tool to promote philosophical discussions about the Buddhist teachings. The Theravada commentaries include 12 commentaries ascribed to Buddha-Ghosa, commentaries by Dhammapala, and 4 commentaries by various other authors. Buddha-Ghosa was the most revered of Pali commentaries. His name means speech of the Buddha, and the way he came up with the Path of Purity book was he contemplated 2 lines of Samyutta Nikaya, and just the contemplation of 2 lines gave him all of that knowledge or insight to write down. In addition to being a useful teaching tool, the commentaries also contain many stories that help scholars reconstruct the history of Buddhism in ancient Indian and Sri Lankan society.
Yeah, again, it's commentaries similar as the Abhidhamma. Okay, we have only a few minutes to go. Yeah, let's go to the last one. Who does the last one here? Asya, Hamish. What do you have there? For the chronicles, Buddhist chronicles.
They made it in the 5th century during the period the Arya monks composed it. They're based upon earlier Sinhala traditions that no longer exist, and they provide valuable sources for the history of Theravada. Theravada tradition in India and Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
It developed in South and Southeast Asia, including compositions and vernacular languages. The chronicle literature thus established the importance of particular Buddhist religious sites and of ritual practices, such as stupa construction and pilgrimage.
Okay. Yeah, you want to ask?
It was a work written by Burmese Buddhist monk Mingang Siddha, who was born in 1911 and passed in 93, making him 82. But the books contain an array of instructions, explanation, and terms, stories, and biographies of the 25 previous Buddhas who had made their appearances throughout various periods of the world. And the books were translated into English by a team of Buddhist scholars and published by Tipitaka Sanya organization in 91, and the complete set consists of 6 volumes and 8 books, of which 2,007 pages describe the biographical account of Buddha and questions about Paramis. I didn't learn much on that. But I went to the, like it wanted you to download it. It took forever just to
Oh,
view
really?
it. But
Okay.
yeah, it says, I went to it had a table of contents of each section of the book, and the first one was Paramis, how long does it take to reach it, and how many are there, and then the next one was about the different Buddhas and their stories and their teachings. But I think it's pretty cool that we have access to that.
Yeah. Basically, it's
insight.
a lot. Thank you. There's a lot of Buddhist chronicles. This is the chronicle of Ashoka. Remember we talked about Ashoka, and even chronicle of the Buddha too. I put everything on the on course, on the resource. And this here, the chronicles, that the Sri Lanka chronicles, that they record some, or they wrote down some Buddhist legend that the Buddha went to Sri Lanka by his spirit, by his second power. And actually this is the, what they call the Adam pig. That's where they believe that still have the footprint of the Buddha. That's here, what you call Adam pig. That's where they believe that the Buddha went there with his footprint there. That's just the belief. Anyway, so that's a lot of chronicles that record the activities whichever happening in Sri Lanka, in India, in the past. Okay, so next week we learn about the Mahayana Buddhist Sutra that relate to Mahayana philosophy, a concept like emptiness. And this is many famous sutra. Anyone of you heard about Lotus Sutra before?